Again, welcome. I'm so glad that you've all joined us this evening for our very special presentation in our Maine Staycation series. I'm happy to welcome our guest this evening, Robin Mullins. She's the Executive Director of the Sebago Lakes Region Chamber of Commerce, and she has so kindly agreed to be with us tonight on this snowy, cold evening to tell us about her beautiful region. So without further ado, I'd like to turn the program over to Robin. Welcome.
Thank you very much, Julia. And by the way, you did a fantastic job. My husband laughs at me when I have to say that I'm the Executive Director of the Sebago Lakes Region Chamber of Commerce. I don't think our name could be any longer. So you did a fabulous job with that, and very excited to be here. I grew up in the Sebago Lakes region. I've lived here most of my life, brought up my children here. They both graduated from Windham High School. I think as I go through the presentation, the word will probably come to mind is passionate. I'm very passionate about the area that I live in. I'm hoping that comes across, and I'm hoping that you all feel the same way when I am finished. So a lot of the things that I'm going to go over are places to stay, fun activities to do, and of course, can't forget about food. Food's very important, so we have to talk about the food, restaurants, diners, and things like that that we have in the region. I'm going to talk a little bit about the lake itself. Sebago is Native American for great stretch of water, which is perfect for the second largest lake that we have in the state of Maine. The water is pristine. Much of the drinking water in the Portland it's the Portland Water District that kind of owns it, but 20% of the people in Maine get their water from Sebago Lake. So that's a pretty good number of people for that to be the case. The lake is great. Big lake, so lots of big boats, little boats, kayaks, canoes, anything can go out there, and people utilize it all of the time. Obviously, fishing is a big deal on Sebago Lake, whether it's in the summer, spring, fall, or even in the winter time. After today's snow, I think the ice might start to form, so we might start getting some ice fishing. Not yet, but hopefully after the first of the year. Towns that actually have shore line on the Sebago Lakes, the Sebago Lake, and those towns are, let's see if I can remember them, Sebago, Standish, Windham, Raymond, Casco, and Naples. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take you on a little trip from each of those towns and tell you a little bit about each of them. Now, if you were to drive all the way around the lake, it's about a 35-mile drive, so it is very possible within a couple of hours to drive around the lake. The unfortunate thing about that drive, however, is so much of the lake is not actually visible from the road. About 95% of Sebago Lake is privately owned, so there aren't a lot of public beaches and things like that. So I'm going to try to talk a little bit about what beaches are public, so if you decided to come to the region, you'd know where to go in order to be able to access the lake. So I am going to share my screen. This is when you guys determine just how technology savvy I am. So there we go. So that's our first screen.
It looks good, Robin. Looks perfect.
Thank you. So I do have some contact information here. Don't worry too much about it because I will show the screen again in case there's information that you would like to take with you if you want to email us or if you want to check out our website. So this is an aerial map of the Sebago, or part of the lake. So I just wanted you to take a look at that before we move on. And here is a map that was drawn, and if you look right smack in the middle, there is Sebago Lake. And I have highlighted, and I'm not really sure how that's showing up for color for you, but on my screen it's purple. And you can see there's Sebago there on the northwestern side of the lake, and we're going to start there. The resident number in Sebago is only about 1,800, so it's a fairly small community. Obviously, in the summertime, that number is greatly increased as they have a lot of folks that come in. They have camps. A lot of people rent out their houses, or it may be a second home that they rent out. There's campgrounds, lots of restaurants, lots of things to do. So what I'm going to do is talk specifically about some things that you can do in that area. And the first one I'm going to talk about is Nason's Beach. Nason's Beach is open to the public. You can see this is a beautiful sunset on Nason's Beach. There is a charge to access this beach. So just know that if you decided you wanted to go and partake in the fun, there is going to be a fee for that. The next couple of pictures that I'm going to show you are from the Douglas Mountain Nature Preserve. My husband and I actually did this not in the winter time, but we did it in the summertime. If you like blueberries, this is certainly the place to go. My husband and I eat blueberries all the way up and all the way back. When you get to the top, there's actually several different trails, but on this particular trail, there's a stone tower that stands, you can see behind these skiers here. And if you were to get to the top, which you can get to the top, what you would see is this view, which is absolutely beautiful. You can't see it, but there is, the lake is there that you can see as well, but you can see the mountains behind you. Spectacular. This is, what I'm trying to do today is talk about things that you can do in the summer, but also things that you can do in the winter time as well. And this is definitely something that is open and that you can hike or cross-country ski or whatever, and you can do this in the winter time as well. This isn't a very good picture, and I apologize, but there's a place called Loon's Landing, and they have two modern homes that they rent out. And this one, as you can see, is right on the beach. They've got a beautiful deck. So this is available for folks to rent out. I believe they rent it out in the winter and in the summer. Certainly what you're going to do for activities will differ depending on what season that you're there. But there's boating, swimming, fishing in the summertime. And once the lake is frozen over, there's ice fishing. Some people like to snowmobile, snowshoe, and those sorts of activities. This right here is a picture of the beach at Nason's Beach Campground. It's a beautiful campground in Sebago. And this happens to be in the winter time, as you can probably see the snow. Obviously the campground's not open in the winter time, but I thought this was kind of a neat picture to show what the beach does look like when there is snow on it. This here is Sebago Lake cottages. There are 16 rustic knotty pine cottages, and you can't see them, but if you look behind the house that's kind of in the middle, they're almost like a horseshoe. And they're behind there's a recreational spot that people can share and do horseshoes and basketball and things like that. There's boating. You can see they have moorings there that they actually will rent out to people. There's boats that you can utilize as well. So this is a pretty cool place, and it's right on the main street there in Sebago. If you could call it a main street, I guess it's actually quite tiny, but for Sebago, it's kind of their main drag. So this is a place that I discovered just recently, and I was amazed. This is called The Barn on Autumn Lane. A young couple, Dan and Mackenzie Bowie, recently purchased it and are fixing it up. The building on the right in the back is the barn, and they hold weddings here. And you can't see it, but there's also a little cottage that they redid, and that's kind of like the honeymoon cottage. So this is a wedding venue, and I spoke with the owners for the first time today, and I just think this place is phenomenal. So if you know anyone that would like to plan a summer wedding on Sebago Lake, this is a perfect place to do that. And you're probably wondering what this is. Well, this is a tree. There were a couple of people, and I want to make sure I get their names correctly. They're Sebago residents, Anne McCann and Wendy Newcomb. On November 7th, they came up with the idea to have wooden hearts cut out and painted for every Mainer that we have lost due to COVID. So on November 7th, we had approximately 150 hearts on the tree. And unfortunately, today there are well over 250 of them. So it's a reminder for this town that COVID is happening and that we all have to do what we can to prevent that. And that means wearing masks and social distancing and a lot of things that not everyone likes to do, but I think at the end of the day is important. And before we move away from Sebago, I would like to mention two places that you could go to if you are hungry. And those two places are the Sportsman Kitchen and Keg and Chris's Four Season Diner and Variety Store. Well, now we're going to move. We're going to go down Route 114 to Route 35, and we're going to land ourselves in Standish. And Standish is known, it has actually 4 distinct population centers, and those are Steep Falls, which is on the Saco River, Standish Village, Sebago Lake Village, and White's Bridge, which is on the southeast side of the lake. So here are some activities you can do if you are in Standish. This right here is the Mountain Division Trail. The name was made for the railroad line that it parallels, and at some point when it's complete, it's going to span 52 miles between Freiburg and Portland. The section that I'm talking about today is a section in our region which covers Standish all the way down to South Windham. I have taken my dogs here plenty of time. It's a relatively flat walk. People they ride bikes, they walk, they run. I've even seen some horses on the trail as well. So it's a pretty utilized trail, and I think it's really a neat thing that we could have one trail that could go 52 miles between all of those towns. So that is pretty amazing. This here is a picture of Kiwanis Beach. If you look at it, you can see just how clear the water is. It's absolutely beautiful. It's a big beach. It's got tables, barbecue. There is a concession stand there. You are not allowed to have any motorized boats on this, but you're more than welcome to bring kayaks or canoes or anything like that. Lots of swimming and fishing, and this is a very beautiful beach in Sebago if you happen to get yourself to Sebago sometime this year or anytime really. And this is Sebago Lake Lodge and Cottages. This is beautiful. This is only one picture. If you look out behind it, you can see the big lodge, and then they've got cabins out there as well. This is right on Sebago Lake. And they are only open in the spring, summer, and then just shortly into the fall. Fall is actually a big time in the Sebago Lakes region because we have beautiful foliage, as most of the state of Maine does, but we do get quite a few people that will come in the fall just so they can experience the foliage that we have. So this is a beautiful place to stay. Another place that we have, and this may look a little strange thinking, we're on the lake, but this particular campground, it's called Family and Friends Campground in Standish, doesn't have the lake access, but it does have a swimming pool. But the great thing is it's right in the middle of Standish, so you're close to the lake and you're close to a lot of the other amenities that are around. Believe it or not, there are some people that would rather have a pool than the lake, so this is a very good option for those people. And this right here is another campground. It's Acres of Wildlife. Acres of Wildlife is 3,000 square acres, which is huge. And it has a lot of activities. My mom is a singer, and she has her own band and does a lot of karaoke. And she goes to Acres of Wildlife. She's now 71 years old, and she still goes to Acres of Wildlife and puts on her shows and dances with the kids, and she absolutely loves it, and they love her. And one of the things I wanted to show you was this. They celebrate Halloween there in the middle of the summer, and this is one of the campers that decorated their camper for the Wizard of Oz. I thought that was kind of cool, and something a little bit different that they do. And before we leave Standish, just a couple of cool places to go in Standish. And I always like to tell people, so first of all, I have to be very honest. I worked for Hannaford Supermarkets for 22 years. My husband is currently the store manager in this Standish, Hannaford. So I like to let people know when there's a grocery store, and there definitely is one in Standish. But if you're looking for something a little bit different, there's Percy's Table in Standish, which is a cute little restaurant. And then there's TJ Sandwich Shop, which is a really big, it's very popular in Standish for a lot of the folks that live there. All right, so moving along to the right, down 35, we are now moving into Windham. Windham is one of the bigger towns in the area. One of the things I've discovered living here and having this position is Windham's not necessarily a destination. It's a lot of times the place that people drive through to get to, like Naples and Sebago and things like that. And so in Windham, you're going to find a lot of shopping. You're going to find a lot of restaurants, things for people to do when they're staying elsewhere, but it's a place for them to come and visit, or as they're driving through, a place for them to go. But there are still some really cool things to do in Windham. And the first one is to see this. And this is the only covered bridge that we have in Cumberland County. It's called Bab's Bridge. And it's beautiful. I have a friend that took a picture of this in the wintertime. Unfortunately, he wasn't able to get the picture to me in time, but it's absolutely something unique that people should see if they happen to be in the Windham area. This is Dundee Park. This is kind of a jewel for us. Not too many people know about it, so a lot of Windham residents come here. There's bathrooms and picnic tables and barbecues and things like that. And a lot of people will buy a season pass and they'll come here every day and bring their kids, and this is where they hang out for the summer. And this is just another picture of just a different vantage point for Dundee Park. All right. We also have an adventure park in Windham. It's called the Seacoast Adventure Park. And in the summertime, there's go-karts. There's a big swing that you can go on. You basically, they pull you up and then they drop you. There's miniature golf, and then there's the water park. They also have a wonderful restaurant, the Deck House, which is, if you're looking at that water park, it's right to the right of the water park. So those are some fun things that you can do in the summertime. However, if you're a winter person, they also have snow tubing, and snow tubing at night is awesome. They have lights, and they play loud music. And you know, the great thing about this is you don't have to walk back up the hill. They do have machines that you hold on to, and they do pull you back up the hill. Because I'll tell you one thing, I wouldn't go if they didn't. So this is a fun thing for families to do. My kids are a little older, so we don't necessarily do this anymore, but it was definitely something fun when they were younger. And Windham does have a celebration every year. We call it Windham Summerfest, and it's a parade, and we have entertainment all day long, live bands. There's all of the food that is at the event is served by nonprofits, so it's an opportunity for a lot of the nonprofits in Windham to be able to come out and make money. Unfortunately, we weren't able to do that this year because of COVID, which I'm sure that the story is the same for a lot of towns. And then we end the evening with a big fireworks display. And so I have a picture on the left of everyone who's in the field waiting for the fireworks to go off. And it's pretty spectacular. I'm a co-chair for Summerfest. And when it comes to the point of the night when we're getting ready for the fireworks, I typically break down into tears because I'm like, phew, we did it, another year gone by. But it's a lot of fun if you ever get a chance. And it's always the third Saturday in June. So as I said before, Windham's not usually a destination. It's kind of a pass-through. But if you do decide that you're going to stay in Windham, we do have the Windham Microtel, which is a fantastic hotel. They do have a banquet facility. They have an indoor pool, and they are pretty cool. We work with them on a regular basis. That's where we have our board meetings with the chamber. So they're definitely a valuable resource. Another valuable resource is the Sebago Lakes Region Chamber of Commerce. which is also located in Windham, right on Roosevelt Trail or Route 302. So if you're in the area and you want to find out a little bit more about what there is to do, please come visit us. This is our trailer, and we just had it wrapped last week. So all four sides, that picture was actually taken by my office manager. And so that's our new trailer. So when we go to events, we're definitely going to stand out now, I would say. Before I leave Windham, just some restaurants that we do have in the area. We have Amato's, Bob's Seafood, Elbow Room Bistro, Eric's Church, Franco's Bistro, Gilbert's Chowder House, the Ice Cream Dugout, which is only open in the summer, Kelly's Sebago Diner, Pat's Pizza, Portland Pie, Rustler's Steakhouse, Subway, of course we have a Hannaford, and then Walmart is a big contributor to the chamber, so I want to make sure I recognize them as well. All right, so we're going to move right along. If you look up at the top right, we're moving into Raymond. Raymond is the home of the landlocked salmon, from what I've been told. It's a cute little town. It has a little business center that you go through when you first get into the town. And then after that, it's pretty rural. So what I'd like for you to do, if you look at this map, you can see that there's some white that juts down into the lake. That's an 8-mile peninsula, and it's known as Raymond Neck. And just at the bottom of that, there's an island, and that's called Fry Island. And you can take a ferry over to Fry Island. The only way to get to the island is by ferry, or if you have a boat, you can take a boat and access it that way as well. The island is populated with summer camps. It has a 9-hole golf course. And on the 4th of July, they like to celebrate with a golf cart parade and fireworks. So I have to be honest with you, I've lived here most of my life. I've never been to Fry Island, so it is on my bucket list for next year to do that for sure. So this picture here, Sebago Trails Paddling Company is located right on 302 in Raymond, and they rent out kayaks and canoes and paddle boards. And I wanted to make sure that I mentioned them. They do a big business, and they have access to the lake right out behind their facility. But this was kind of neat. It was the picture they took of the last kayaks that they had taken from somebody. If you rent them, they will actually deliver them to your camp. So this was the picture that they took, the last people that had rented kayaks for them for the season. So I thought that was kind of a neat little picture for them to have posted on their Facebook page. So this is Raymond Beach. This is not what Raymond Beach looks like in the summertime. In the summertime, it's a nice little beach with a fenced-in area for dogs. It has a dock. You can. It has a boat launch, and it's a nice little beach. But this is what the beach looks like when we have our polar dip. We have a Sebago Lakes polar dip. All of the money raised goes to support food pantries in the Sebago Lakes region. We do have one scheduled. It is part of the Sebago Lakes Rotary Fishing Derby. They have a fishing derby every year. And so this is part of it. And these crazy people decided that they had nothing better to do than to jump into a freezing lake. So this is what Raymond Beach looks like on that particular day. And if anyone is interested, the fishing derby is February 20th and 21st for next year. And the polar dip is going to be on the 20th. This here is a beautiful picture of the sand at Castletop Beach. Castletop Beach is kind of neat. It has pine trees, so it's a bit shady, but there are some spots that you can go as well. It's very family friendly. There's a concession stand. There's plenty of parking. It's a nice beach to take your kids. And this again is in Raymond. And then I'm getting ahead of myself. And this right here is an interesting picture. This is the Raymond Community Forest, and I want to make sure I get this right. So it's a 2.1-mile loop located near Crescent Lake in Raymond. The trail has beautiful wildflowers and offers a number of activities such as walking, hiking, mountain biking in the spring, summer and fall, and you can winter snowshoe or cross-country ski. So obviously, we're looking at the view from above, but this is a very beautiful a view in the Raymond Community Forest. Where are the places to stay if you're in Raymond? Well, one of them is the White Pines Inn. They are open year round, so if anyone wants to come to the region in the wintertime, they are open year round. They do have access to the lake and swimming, and they are pet friendly. I have actually found that many of the facilities in the Sebago Lakes region are pet friendly, which is nice because I know there are a lot of dog lovers out there. And this is the beach at another place called Windham Pines. Again, they're located right on Sebago Lake, and they've got a nice beach there for people to enjoy. And this right here is a picture of the beach and the water at Kokatosi Campground. Kokatosi Campground is a campground in Raymond. And it's beautiful. They are usually very, very busy, very family friendly. They are not on Sebago Lake, and I think it's Tricky Pond that they're on, but please don't quote me on that. But it's a beautiful small pond that that they have their campground on, and it's another huge destination for many families in the summertime. And so before we move on to Casco, some places that are really good, the Fisherman's Hatch is only open in the summertime, but they do seafood. The Village Donut, open year round. They have the best donuts. If you want to know where to get donuts in the Sebago Lakes region, it's definitely the Village Donut. They also have the Sebago Cafe and the Beacon Pizza. I have to say my favorite place for pizza, again in the Sebago Lakes region, please don't tell anyone I said this because I'll probably get in trouble because I have lots of pizza places in the chamber, but the Beacon's Pizza is fantastic. As a matter of fact, they have won, the Rotary has a pizza challenge, and they've won that a couple of times for the Sebago Lakes Rotary, and definitely well deserved. So up at the top of the lake, we're now in the town of Casco. Casco has a population of about 3,700, and believe it or not, it swells to about 15,000 in the summertime. They have lots of youth camps and summer camps, family resorts, which we'll talk about one in particular in just a minute. So many people have made Casco their family home in the summertime. So they have what they call Casco Days. So Casco Days is, I believe it's a weekend long, and they have a small little carnival. They have lots of games. They have a parade. They have entertainment, fireworks. So it's fun. My husband and I have gone to it a couple of times. It's a very enjoyable thing. And that is always, let me make sure I get this right, the last weekend in July. This is a picture of the view from a place in Casco called Hackers Hill. You have a 360-degree view of the White Mountains, the Pleasant Mountain, and the Lakes region, and it's open to the public from May until October. Now we have the very popular Sebago Lake State Park. You can camp there, you can swim there, you can fish. The park is huge. Let me see if I get this. It's a 1,400-acre park. It has a sandy beach, walking trails, ponds, bogs, and a river. They do have well-kept facilities there that are handicap accessible, so that's nice for people if they want to go. There's a playground, concessions, and 2 boat launches. And they are open in the winter as well, so they are a year-round entity, not just off of the winter. This beautiful photo is of Point Sebago in Casco, and I don't know if anyone's ever been there, but this place is absolutely beautiful. You can see they have lots of beaches. They have places for boats. They have cabins. They have glamping, as they call it, because it's not really camping, but it's an upgrade from camping, I guess you would say. And they have a beautiful golf course. which is this picture right here. It is a nationally renowned golf course, very beautiful. We had our Sebago Lakes Region Chamber of Commerce golf outing there this year, and it's absolutely beautiful there. And I would highly recommend, if I have any golfers listening, this is a great place to go and see how well you do on that course. All right, what do we have next? Point Sebago, they have RV sites. And I do have one other thing I want to point out. They sometimes have events there. And one of the events that they had the last 2 years is actually for our chamber, and it's called the Spirit Event. And so what we've done is for those of you that don't know, there are lots of businesses that make their own spirits, and they're based here in Maine. So we wanted a way to be able to showcase those businesses. So we have the Spirits Festival, and they get them all together, and they show what they have for items, and they have tastings for the people that are there. And it's a lot of fun. We actually were able to pull it off this year. We did a lot of social distancing and limited the amount of people that were there, but it's an awful lot of fun, and it's right on the beach at Point Sebago. So if you ever hear of the Sebago Spirits Festival and you are interested in trying some new spirits, please come and join us. It's an awful lot of fun. This here is the Maplewood Inn and Motel. What's great about this is it's right on 302, so it's close to everything. It's owned by a couple, and it's well kept. And if anyone's looking for a place, I believe that they're open year round, so it's not just in the summertime. So again, we do have some places that are open in the wintertime, because we do have people that like to snowmobile, snowshoe, cross-country ski, and those sorts of things. So that is Casco. Now we're going to move up to Naples, and you see Naples way up there on the top. And what I'd like you to do is, when you take a look at that, you can see that Naples actually runs between two branches or two bodies of water. The one on the bottom is Brandy Pond, and you can't see it, but the one on the top of it is called Long Lake. And if you take a look at Sebago Lake, you can see that they actually do connect. And they connect by it's called the Songo Locks. And I apologize, I meant to have a picture in here, but you can actually get from Sebago Lake up to Brandy Pond, or from Brandy Pond down to Sebago Lake, with this lock system. And it's an old, you basically get in it, they fill it up with water, and they push you into the place that you're going. And it's a hand cranked machine. It's really quite amazing if anyone has ever seen it before. And again, I apologize, I had a picture of it and somehow I didn't get it in there. But so if you're ever wondering, well, how the heck do I get through all of those little things and you definitely can put it all connected. So in Naples, the big thing, first of all, I have to say, I grew up in Windham, but of all the towns in the Lakes region, Naples is my favorite. I'm trying to convince my husband that we need to move there. So, hopefully someday, I keep my fingers crossed, but it's absolutely beautiful. And what you're seeing here on the right-hand side is Long Lake. And the Causeway, which is the strip there, and it does have a bridge, and I'll show you another picture in a minute. But there's lots of shopping there. There's restaurants. The Causeway is kind of the big thing when you're in Naples. And a lot of the Causeway just shuts right down in the wintertime. Usually that area is known mostly for the things that you can do in the summer. This is what the Causeway looks like at night. It's absolutely beautiful. And so the thing I wanted you to notice here on the bottom is Long Lake. And if you look across the Causeway, that is Brandy Pond. And it doesn't show it here, but you can get underneath and get your boat from Brandy Pond to Long Lake. My husband and I have our boat on Brandy Pond. We spend an awful lot of time on both the pond and the lake, and it's just a beautiful place to be. And one of the times that it's most beautiful is on the 4th of July, and my husband and I take our boat out there, as do lots of other people. And so they have a firework display. Unfortunately, again, we weren't able to do that this year, but the fireworks from the 4th of July on the Causeway in Naples is usually a big deal. And they also have an antique boat show in Naples, and this might be one of the things you would see. Not going to find that in too many places, but my husband and I have actually seen it. It is a boat that I don't know, it had to have been a boat that they turned into a car, or I don't know what they did with it, but it is kind of cool, and I thought you guys might like to see that. This here is the Songo River Queen too. So it's an old-fashioned paddle boat, and you can take tours of Long Lake. They go out daily in the summertime, and my husband and I have done it. What's really cool is sometimes they'll have bands that will play live music. You can go and dance and be out there. The gentleman that owns it, his name is Kent, is very passionate about what he does, and he absolutely loves it. And he's usually on every cruise. And so that's a lot of fun and something you should try for sure if you're going to be in Naples. On the Causeway, they also have seaplane rides. They have jet skis that you can rent, boats that you can rent. And there are tons of marinas on the Causeway, but the only two that I'm going to talk about are the two that are part of our chamber. And one of those is Moose Landing. And I had to show you this picture because the picture on the right, I'm sorry, the picture on the left is what I see, because that's where our boat is. So this is what I see when we drive up and we get ready to take our boat out. The picture on the right is what they posted on Facebook today. So this is what today looked like at Moose Landing. And as you can see, yes, they're getting lots of snow. The other marina that we have is Causeway Marina. It is actually right around the corner from Moose Landing, and my husband and I have friends that have boats there as well. And so this, if you go past this on the right-hand side, you go right underneath the bridge, and you'll go from Brandy Pond right into Long Lake. So I wanted to show you this. It's not a very good picture blown up, but this is called the barn, the Naples barn. And the big barn part of it is an antique store, and they've got lots of really cool things there if you happen to like shopping for antiques. On the right-hand side, that is actually a little cafe called Knight's Cafe. They make everything from scratch, and it is so good. It takes a little bit longer because they're making everything, but it's well worth the wait. My husband and I will pick up sandwiches and then bring them out on the boat with us because they are right across the street from Moose Landing. And then on the left-hand side, the house part of it, they're actually redoing that and putting some little rooms in there, and they're going to rent those out. So those will be places that people can stay when they come to Naples. So it's a cute little place, and I love how they've got it decorated. This is the Lakeview Inn, and it's called the Lakeview Inn because when you look out, you can absolutely see Long Lake. It's a beautiful view. The inn was just purchased, and I want to make sure I get their names correctly. It was purchased by Anthony and Layla Rodriguez, and it used to be that this was only open in the summertime. But as of January 1st, they are going to be opening it up year-round. So this will be another place that folks can stay in the wintertime, and it's beautiful. I've been inside. It's you know, your typical New England bed and breakfast. It's really, really unique. And so again, another fabulous place to stay if you're looking to stay somewhere in the Naples area. If camping is more your thing, they do have a Colonial Mast campground. This campground, believe it or not, is open in the wintertime. They have an indoor swimming pool, and they also have access to the lake. I have never done winter camping, nor will I ever do winter camping, but there are lots of brave souls out there who might want to, and this is definitely a place that you can go to do that. This is the view from the beach at Four Seasons Campground. That is another campground on Long Lake. There are actually two campgrounds in the chamber, and one of them is Four Seasons, and the other one is Colonial Mast. This is the Naples KOA campground. They do not have access to the water, so they do have a swimming pool. But they do very popular place for families to go. And again, there are some people that would much rather swim in a pool than the lake, but they still have access to the lake very close by, because this is not that far from the small little causeway in Naples. All right. The umbrella factory. Now, I wish I had a picture of the inside of this. So this is a grocery store. They sell Hannaford products. But when you go in there, there are umbrellas hanging from the ceiling all over the place, which is where they got the name, the Umbrella Factory. It's really kind of a neat place to visit if you are in the area and want to do some grocery shopping. You can go to the Umbrella Factory. I was so disappointed. I went on their Facebook page and expected that there would be at least one picture, and there wasn't. Maybe they do that on purpose so they can get people there. That might be their marketing gimmick. I don't know. But if you ever get a chance, it's kind of a really unique place to go to. And some other places that are, and these are places that are actually open year round in Naples, are Annette's Country Skillet Diner, the Galley, and then Gary's Old Town Tavern. So those are places that you can visit if you're in Naples. So I know my journey was supposed to take you just around the 6 towns, but we do have a couple other towns that are part of the chamber, and I would be remiss if I didn't mention them even just a little tiny bit. And so Gray and New Gloucester are not on the lake, but they are very close by. And just a couple of things. So in Gray, we have the Wild Animal Park. This is a home to, I think it's, yes, the home to more than 300 Maine animals. And so basically these are animals that for one reason or another cannot live in the wild. So their home is now at the Wildlife Park, and you can go there and visit them. And the reason I chose a moose to be on here is 2 reasons. The first one is I can't tell you how many people call me from Massachusetts and say, where's the best place to see a moose in the Lakes Region area? And I say, the Maine Wildlife Park, because I mean, I go up to Moosehead with my brother. He has a camp up there, and I don't even see moose up there, although I know they're there. I said, Sebago Lakes Region is probably not the place that you're going to see moose. So if you want to see a moose, then you definitely need to get to the Gray Maine Wildlife Park. The other thing in Gray that we're really proud of is Spring Meadows. Spring Meadows is a golf course, and for 2021, they have been named New England's Golf Course of the Year by the New England Golf Owners Association. And that's a big deal for all of New England and for the Golf Association to nominate them and then choose them as Golf Course of the Year. So that's a pretty big deal. This here is the picture of cross-country skiing happening at Pineland Farm. So I don't know, Pineland Farm is kind of a big deal in New Gloucester. Let's see, I want to make sure I get this. This is open obviously in the wintertime, but it's open in the summer. It's a working farm. They have a nice pond there. There's ice skating, there's snowshoeing. It's a place where schools will take children for field trips so they can learn about the farm and things like that. There's fat biking. I didn't know what fat biking was when I saw that, but I guess fat biking is on a bike with like fat tires or something, so you can get good traction in the winter, because you can do it in the winter. So anyway, that's something you can do there. There's sledding. They also have a business park there. There's some diverse businesses in there as well. So it's a pretty spectacular place if you get a chance to visit Pineland Farms in New Gloucester. And so what I'd like to do is I'd like to end, I have named every place that we have membership for accommodations. And I only had 2 left over, and they're not in any of the towns I talked about. But in Poland, Maine, we do have, there's a picture on the left-hand side. It's the Poland Spring Resort and Golf Club. That is a very old resort. It has been around for a number of years. Beautiful, beautiful views, gorgeous golf course. And again, that's in Poland, Maine. And on the right-hand side, we have the Wolf Cove Inn. My husband and I have actually stayed at the Wolf Cove Inn, and it's so, the first time I got there, I mean, the food is phenomenal, first of all. And the views, it's not on Sebago Lake, it's actually on Trip Lake in Poland. And we got there and they had these little packages of items so that you could make s'mores, and it's just a quaint little bed and breakfast. And if you ever get the chance to stay at the Wolf Cove Inn, I would highly, highly recommend it. And with that, I'm going to stop talking and see if you have any questions for me.
Thank you so much, Robin. I was furiously taking notes the whole time, and I have such great ideas. I'm really eager for my family, the extended family, to be able to get together and rent a house sometime soon. And this region looks like it's perfect for families, and lots of great ideas. So if anyone has any questions, go ahead and type them into the chat box right now. We did have one that came up at the very beginning, and I'm not sure if you'll be able to remember it because we're just addressing a location. Donna asks, what was the name of the place on Autumn Lane? It was right around the time when you were talking about the wedding venue in Sebago.
Yep. Barn on Autumn Lane.
Could you please repeat that? Your sound went out a little bit.
Oh, it's the barn, B-A-R-N, barn.
Okay.
On Autumn Lane.
Perfect. Thank you so much.
It's beautiful. It's just beautiful.
All right. Let's see. We also have Steve who said, how about Good Life Market in Raymond? And Elise said, we love Good Life Market.
So I love Good Life Market as well. They are not a member of the chamber yet, but I am fairly new in my position, so I'm working on it. I actually went to high school with the people that own it. So they are fantastic. Their sandwiches are phenomenal. And yes, I would highly recommend them. And before too long, they'll be a member of the chamber, and I can continue to tout about them as well.
Is it a shopping, like a supermarket or a restaurant?
Yeah, no, it's a house, and
okay.
They've transformed the bottom floor of it. It's like a little sandwich shop, but it's higher end, and it has wines and cheeses and I mean, it's a great little spot. They have homemade sandwiches. They have homemade desserts. They make pies. I mean, it's a great little spot.
Okay, Sue has a great question. She asks, what are the prime tourist times just in case us locals want to go at a lower populated time? So what's a pretty nice time to go for the rest of us?
I would say before the 4th of July is a good time to go. I mean, obviously, once it starts to get nice, is a good time to go, because once the 4th of July comes, get it, like all bets are off and people are here. Usually after Labor Day, we do have some, like I said, some leaf peepers, but for the most part, most of the people have gone back home. Because I have to be honest with you, most of the population that we get in the Sebago Lakes region are people that have second homes here. So once they close down those homes because they're going back because their kids need to go to school and things like that, things start to slow down quite a bit. So you have a pretty good chance of getting in sometime after Labor Day, and things are still beautiful and whatever right up until October.
Sure. I think pretty much anywhere in Maine, if you go in June or like late September, it's awesome. Yeah. Thank you for that. And Janet asks, what is the name of the long trail in Standish that allows horses?
Okay, so that is called the Mountain Division Trail.
Okay, Mountain Division Trail.
And yep, and it goes from Standish through Gorham down into Windham, and that, like I said, at some point it's actually going to go from Freiburg to Portland, but it hasn't all been created yet. And I can't remember what it's called. The something to see. I can't remember what it's called, but it's 52 miles is pretty good, but that's where it is.
That's really neat that they're going to extend it. Very, very cool.
Yeah.
I also want to second that I've taken my family to the Gray Wildlife Park, and it is such a special place. It really, truly is. I mean, again, I've lived in Maine only 10 years, but it's one of the only places I've ever seen a moose, like you said. and you can get up close to eagles and owls and, you know, see some of the mountain lions and bobcats and things that we have in Maine that just under any other circumstances, you never see them. So I thank you for bringing that up because it's a wonderful place to take families. Yes, I was shocked when I saw the number that in the Casco area, you guys go from 3,700 to 15,000 people. Wow. Wow.
Yep.
I thought we were busy. Go ahead.
A lot of people have second homes here, and Casco seems to be one of those places. You know, well, actually, any of the towns have a lot of second homes, but yeah, Casco gets right up there. They also have like the resort. Point Sebago. Point Sebago is huge. So there's a lot of people that come in and they literally spend their entire summer there. I have a friend who works for Hannaford Supermarket, and that's where he and his family live in the summertime, is there. And there's lots of other people that do that because it's still close by to work and things like that.
Well, thank you so much. It seems like we've gotten through all the questions, and you know, this has just been a great amount of information, and I'm sure that this will help folks plan for, you know, their upcoming winter travel and some summer travel, because I think, as we know, the pandemic is not disappearing completely anytime immediately soon. So, you know, we've been very lucky here in Maine, and hopefully we can all still continue to support these local businesses and help our state get through this really difficult time. So, Robin, thank you so much. This was such a pleasure to be here with you tonight and learn about your beautiful Sebago Lakes region.
Well, thank you. It was my pleasure.
All right. Once again, I just want to remind folks that we did record this evening. So if you want to go back and listen to some of Robin's suggestions, you'll be able to find the recording on the Camden Public Library Program's YouTube channel. If you have any difficulty locating that, just give me an email and I'm happy to go ahead and send you that link. You can reach me at jpierce, JPIERCE @librarycamden.org. Robin, thank you so much, and everyone have a great night. Bye-bye.